The Triple M Grill Team.
Turn Gus, MG and Matty on 6 till 9 weekdays.
We've been talking about this a lot this morning. It's front page of the paper, the news last night. Some new artwork for Sydney, Gussie.
Yeah, some new sculptures and artwork, exactly. A cloud arch. There's also a pavilion, which is a milk crate. And also the distance of your heart, which is some pigeons on a bronze statue. $9 million in total, $5 million nearly of that going to the artist itself. So we thought we'd get the lady who is the Lord Mayor of Sydney, and we're very lucky to have her on the line now, Clover Moore. Good morning to you, Clover.
Good morning.
Now, Clover, the reaction to these particular pieces of art has been sort of, I suppose,
mixed.
A little mixed to the point certainly all our people here at Triple M and on our Facebook page and Twitter are saying that what an absolute waste of money. What would you say to those people?
Oh, look, what I'd say is that I think it's terrific that we're talking about art in Sydney and that we're having a debate and people are thinking about their city and they're having the discussion. So, I think public art, by the very nature of it being out there in the public place and people having an opinion about it, I think it's terrific. And this is the money we're allocating to this is a small part of the money we're allocating to transform George Street as part of this big project to really renew at the centre of our city with light rail and really give a new life to this new amazing pedestrian area.
I suppose that is one thing about art, is that as long as people start talking about it, if you go to one of the museums in New York, there's a giant painting and it's just plain white.
Yeah,
and it annoys a lot of people, but it's one of the most talked about paintings because people do hate it a lot.
Well, I went to the Museum of Old and New Art at Hobart, and there's a lot of stuff you don't get, but you look at it and you go, okay, it's thought provoking. I get it, and a lot of people saying, should be spent. Lord Mayor on homeless and infrastructure, but I get it. I mean, great sculptures and landmarks create great pride in a city and it draws tourism. I suppose what people are trying to get at, I don't think they begrudge the idea. Can we do better than the Cloud Arch or the Pavilion? I mean, what we see overseas is something like the Eiffel Tower, which is not only a landmark and I suppose an artistic piece, but it's something that could be utilised by the community.
Well, I think when the Eiffel Tower was first proposed, there was a very strong reaction against it. So, but people go to the Eiffel Tower and they're all photographed, either at the top of it or the bottom of it, and it's a landmark for Paris. And when we launched these concepts yesterday, Tim Williams was there from the Committee for Sydney, which and that's a group that work with business people in the city, and he said, when we've had the millionth visitor, we'll stop having this conversation. And I think he was making the point that there'll be this will put Sydney on the map. Another reason for putting Sydney on the map, as well as our Harbour Bridge and our Opera House, and people will want to come and they'll want to see it. And they'll want to be photographed under it. In fact, he went even so far as to say they want to make love under it, but I don't think they are because it's too public.
Or that would be illegal.
I'd say they'd be arrested. Nonetheless, nice idea. I mean,
I think he was just making a point about the people will come.
Although the milk crate's probably a little bit more discreet, you could make love in the milk crate. But I'm not sure. I look at Sydney, Lord Mayor, and it's such a vast city, and I just look at someone like our mate who we work with, Mark Geyer, and I look at MG, and I don't see. I think if I asked him, would he be proud of the Cloud Arch, and would he get it? Would he feel an affiliation with it in any way, shape, or form? I would dare say that people, blokes like MG, would say absolutely not. Can we do better?
Well, look, what we did, it wasn't just a matter of Clover Moore saying, I think these are great works, or the council saying we think they're great works. We got some really eminent people in the art field in Australia in as part of a panel, and Barbara Flynn is our curator, and she has an international reputation. And they decided to to try and get the best in the world for Sydney. Went out to expressions of interest, and there were 700 responses from 25 different countries. So, and some of these artists are known as the best artists in the world. So, we went out to get the best for Sydney, and then our panel had to reduce that 700 down to 10, and then the 10 down to 3, and they presented those to us. And council, if we're doing a project that is over $150,000, well, then we have to put it out to tender, and under the Local Government Act, if it goes out to tender, we can't talk to anyone about it till we've made a decision on it. So that's why we can't talk about it till now. But now we're really excited about the conversation we're having. But I think I can say that we have gone we've taken every possible step we can to present to the people of Sydney the best that's going, and one of the briefs for the George Street artwork was something that would unify this long street, and you will see the cloud from every part of George Street, and it's going to be this sort of wonderful relationship with the blue sky and a relationship with the Opera House, because Jorn Utzon, when he was doing his drawings for the Opera House, there's one drawing there that has the cloud in the sky, and you have the blue harbour, the white Opera House sails, you have the wonderful blue sky of Sydney that people from the Northern Hemisphere particularly, like this Japanese artist, they really appreciate and celebrate. So then you have this wonderful cloud shape that's the most amazing engineering structure as well, celebrating Sydney and our beautiful climate and a relationship in George Street and a relationship with the Opera House. And I think that all comes together, and I'm hoping people will really respond.
Yeah, well, I couldn't disagree with you more. I appreciate you coming on, I really do, and talking to us about it, but I just think it's a complete waste of money, and I truly believe it could have been used much more else. Whether it's a small part of your budget to sort out George Street or not, it's just a complete waste. And also, when it comes to the milk crate and so forth, I mean, who comes up with these ideas? I mean, could I come up with an idea and just say I want a big garbage bin in Hyde Park and I get paid millions of dollars? I mean, how much money gets paid to the artist rather than the actual thing itself? I mean, shouldn't the artists just be so pleased they have a piece of their work in a city like us and do it for nothing?
Well, look, I think sort of you're entering into that whole economic area too, and historically, Ralph Whitlam got into a lot of trouble for purchasing blue poles back there when he was Prime Minister for $1 million, and I think that's now worth $200 million. So, there are economic arguments about art, and I think the great thing about public art is we have those discussions in the public, but I think having great art in a city is an important thing to do, and I think that's what we're attempting to do here, and I hope people will respond and think that this is a great thing to do, to celebrate Sydney. And, art is about who we are, and it's about our spirit, and it's about inspiring us, as well as people wanting to come here as tourists and be photographed with it. I think it's an important thing that we do.
The Grill Team, Gus, MG and Matty Johns. Triple M Breakfast.